All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the World Arena podcast, aka the WAPcast. And it's been about a week since we've done one, or I guess 2 weeks. We were waiting for the actual patch to come out, and glad that we did because now we get to see how the changes are actually affecting the game, and it's not great. So, I mean, what's your first impression on the patch? I mean, I guess we can get out of the way the stuff we like about it first. So if you want to,
Hands down, no matter what anyone says, the artifacts thing is the best thing out of that.
it is awesome, yeah.
Right? Makes sense.
It's partially awesome, and
Partially, I do wish speed to lost HP was still a thing in combination with the other three stats. I think we could have afforded to have that as one more line in our artifact selection because I do like using speed to lost HP. But like, how would it be overpowered if one single if you had speed, defense, and attack to lost HP
and
as
just
one
if you just like cut the roll in half, yeah, I don't see why not.
something?
Because then it's
Like,
basically the same thing if you cut it in half, like the range that it can roll.
cut it in half, the range you could roll.
Yeah, like what's I don't even know what the roll range is of that.
Like 9 to 14.
So
9 to
yeah,
14.
if you cut that down to like 5 to 10, but it gave you all three stats, I think it'd be better than it is right now, and
Yeah.
which
I think
would
it's a
be their
pretty good
goal
thing.
because they apparently think nobody uses it,
Yeah,
even though
I
it's
use
like
speed to lost HP quite a bit.
it's every support's favorite stat. Like I use it on Wedgeot. I use it on. I mean, if I was ever using a Rakuni or a Molly, I don't really play that type of thing, but that's like their favorite stats. So,
Aside from that vanishing
But-
off our list, though, all the other combinations they did was pretty good. I also wish
How-
that they combined.
however,
They made an
have you tried to convert yet?
No.
It is so expensive.
What?
So I thought when I read
They added mana cost.
That's the thing. When I read the patch, I thought it was saying you could choose between using conversion stones or mana. No. It goes up to 50 conversion stones, which isn't bad, but then it's 1 million mana for every single convert. I mean, that is like...
No, not 1 mil, 100.
No, that's just the start. It goes up every time you click.
What?
Yeah, so it'll cap out at 50 conversion stones and then charge you 1 million mana every single time you click it. And if anybody hasn't done these converts before, they're so shit. Like, you can get the same stat you already have on it, but lower. You can convert into your same stat, but lower, which is how it's always been. But now it's insanely expensive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is why I'm glad we waited for the
What?
patch to come out, because I read those patch notes as you choose between 1 million mana, and I was like, okay, that's a lot, but like you could just farm conversion stones and use that instead. No, it's your conversion stones and 1 million mana. So
Whose idea was this?
I don't know. I don't know what universe they think that was a better idea for. Like, I mean,
That's super depressing.
to fund the cost of one convert at that level, like when it's at its maximum cost, you probably have to sell like, I mean, what does an artifact sell for? Like 20,000. So you'd have to sell 1 million divided by 20,000. You have to sell 50 artifacts to pay for one conversion. And it's just gonna like fucking roll into your same stat but lower because that's what it loves to do.
That's
So
definitely straight to the complaint department with that one. What the fuck?
And the thing is, though, it's like, I don't know how they manage this, but every change that they made somehow negatively impacts new players, which makes no sense to me because I would think that was their sole goal of the whole thing, was like streamlining the process for new players. Everything got worse.
Enjoyment or like excitement. It's not, obviously I'm not mana poor, Well, I'm not even farming either.
But you will be.
I will be, though.
Dude, this has only been out for 24 hours. I've gone through 65 million mana, and it's free rune removal right now. So I'm not even paying to like move my runes to make these teams. I've just gone through 60 million mana off of everything's expensive. Artifacts, fucking plus
Power
12ing, plus 12ing a rune. It's like 700 something K, like off rip. It's just shit's expensive right now, man. I don't know.
I don't know how long mana's gonna last at this point. Then
Yeah.
And then this, I don't know how they released this at such an expensive state too, that they had to immediately patch it.
It makes them look so dumb because it's like they went through the process of coding this whole new interface, this whole new system, changing the way that like XP is gained, changing everything. And then only to find out, release it in a state that like it now costs more material to evolve a unit, to the point where they cut it down by 80% in this patch, right? Didn't they like reduce it by like 6 times?
Well, here I have it open, but it's like basically it went from 5 to 6 was 300 million 1-stars. Wait, yeah, but
yeah, so it went from 3.4 million down to 600,000. So 600,000 over 3.45.
That's pretty much 6 times.
Yeah, it's actually So they had to reduce the cost by 83%. Like what? How did that means they released it 600% higher than what they wanted to? How do you do that?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I think it was intentional.
Test it one single time before you release it, and you will catch that issue. You're 600% over your target. Like, what the fuck?
I don't get it. And then, 5-star was the same. But, like, I don't know what kind of math they were doing. It's like they based off the 5-star, like, oh yeah, just go higher when you're going. I don't know, because I feel like that's how they intentionally released it. And then everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And then go back.
I mean, it's just a joke. It makes them look so fucking bad. And then another thing, too, that just... I mean, it sucks for everybody, but it crushes new players, is the gems and grinds. Both systems got significantly harder to find the grind you're looking for and the gem you're looking for.
I don't know how they make R5 worse.
And
it was already bad.
And you take that, and then you go and you tell a new player, with the dungeons that we have right now Rift Beast needing to actually be farmed, and R5, you need 14 PvE teams.
Yeah.
That what? How did we get here? You need 14 PvE teams, bro. It's so weird that we never
thought about this, like, unless they just straight up think that there's like just no more new players. This is just for mid to end game.
Yeah, players. Which it sucks for everybody. This is bad for us too, but it's even worse for a new player who's
how does a new player even do this? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And like, how can you even fix it at this point? You're gonna revert the entire change? You can't revert the entire thing.
I don't see a fix for it. I really don't, because it's like, you could remove blue gems, right? But you're still gonna have the issue of every hour that you spend farming this, looking for, like, let's just say a violent HP percent gem. Every hour that you spend that you don't get that violent HP percent gem, you're just getting garbage with the rest of your stuff. You're getting fucking tolerance gems and shit like that. So it's like, it's so bad. At least with R5, gems were harder to like target down, but the entire time you were doing it, at least you were like, okay, I'm after a Vio HP percent gem, but there's a Despair speed grind. That's nice. Like, I'll take that. There's a Will speed grind or a Will gem or a Sweat. Like,
you build up a whole bunch of other things.
Right. Now you're just sitting there.
And it was still bad. I'm not saying that was good, because R5 was a shit show of how much we had to dump into it.
Yep.
Now it's way more, especially for the grinds portion. Like,
grinds got worse too.
Right, because they removed all the gems, but they added 5
Seven. They added 7 new sets.
Right,
And
because I forgot about Seal and what do you call it was added. Yes.
and all they removed, they did not remove mana, they did not remove blues, they did not remove like scrolls, Rainbow Mon, etc. All they removed was gems, which only had a 13% drop rate. So you're trading out an item that has a 13% drop rate for 7 new sets. So your odds of getting a Vio specifically, or whatever it is that you're in there looking for, got significantly worse.
That was already next to impossible
Yep.
to ever get. I don't know, like I can't remember the last time I got a Legend Vio anything out of R5.
I only get them out of the Gucci shop. It's like the only place you can realistically get a Vio or a speed grind that you're looking for.
Speaking of Gucci shop.
Yeah.
Gucci shop.
And then the other issue too, the Rift Beasts are basically hard capped at like 50-second runs. You just can't get faster. There's animations, there's groggy state, and you have to hit a certain amount of damage in order to get the rewards you're looking for. So you're basically like a 50 to 1 minute run is twice as long as an R5 run. So now you're going in there to target your gem instead of R5. You're getting nothing extra along the way while you're chasing that gem, and you're doing twice as long runs. Holy fuck.
The groggy state is you can't even speed up the groggy state.
You can only do it by removing units from your team. So like for example, so the way the groggy state works is you get 6 attacks per unit that you bring into the game, into the battle. So if you only bring 4 units, which is seeming to be the meta, then the groggy state, gets cut by like 20%. It's like 20% less long. Or I guess it's like 30% less. And so that's one way to speed it up, but that still is like a 50 to 55 second run. So it's not even that great. Even then, like it's still long. So I just don't know. There's no fix for it either. Like the only way they could have made it good is if they didn't spread the gems out the way that they did, right? So like if the water beast, for whatever reason, they just decided this is like the PvE or the PvP rune set beast. It has Vio, Will, Despair, Swift, etc. Go in there when you're doing one of these. Fire Beast has Fatal, Rage, Blade, something else, whatever, right?
Bro, I don't even know if that, like, would that be significantly better? Yeah, but in reality, they're not even going to do that.
No, they'll never do that.
Like waste their time farming multiple dungeons, and they made it even. We already were complaining with the amount of shit we need to farm, and it's actually worse now. In reality, it became worse, and I don't know how. While they were doing this presentation, I was watching it all night with apps while they were doing it, and like maybe we were just so fucking tired, but we didn't process like.
It's because there was ways that they could have done this that made it okay, but they didn't do any of those ways. Like
true, because they didn't change the mechanics of the Rift Beast, right? The elemental Rift
right,
Beast.
The
mechanics didn't change. It's still
it takes forever. And the other thing, like too, with like the grinds, they could have removed blue grinds. They could have removed mana drops. There's so many things that they could do to get it, at the very least, back to where it was. Like if you removed mana and blues, then it would be roughly back to where it was in the amount of runs it would take you to get a grind you were targeting. But they didn't do any of that. You still get, you finish an R5 run and it's like, here's 6 like tolerance grinds, 3 blues and some mana, and it's like, okay.
Thanks. Just thanks is all you can say at that point.
So I don't know. I don't know what the fix is, but they got to figure something out. I mean, they can't do like their biggest update ever and in the process kill their game. Like I don't know how they even got to this point, but
I'm trying to think of what they could even do to, like, what would they actually do? Not like what they should do.
They would crank the drop rates. It's the only thing that they would do. Like, they're never going to do the put all the good sets into one beast. They're not doing that. It's got to
Okay,
be a
so
drop rate thing. And it's
okay,
staying in here. They're not going to put them back in R5, right? They're not going to totally do a 180 on their whole patch.
but
So,
for this, where's the
yeah, look at all that garbage that can drop.
intangibles and only in fire right now, or does it move around?
I thought Intangible didn't have gems yet.
Well, apparently it's in the. Okay, I'm just gonna assume all dungeons drop intangibles.
That might be once there's an abyss level for these, because I could have sworn Intangibles just didn't have gems yet. But I could be wrong. Maybe Intangibles are in there.
Well, let's not talk about intangibles yet, anyway. But
Yeah.
the okay, so when you're doing this, because I haven't tried doing gem farming yet. I've only been just doing regular because I had a very busy week, and then they dropped this like the worst possible time, which is another fucking discussion point. They dropped this in the middle of a work day for
I hate
most
that they do
people.
that.
Like, obviously, it's an international game.
Yeah, but
like,
even for their own country, it's still midday on a Friday. That's still a work day.
yeah,
Like,
so it's kind of weird. But that aside, so like this, though, does the higher rank or higher damage you get affect drop rate or no?
we assume so just because it did on runes, but
So this is just assumption.
but they never tell us anything. So even the rune thing was something that players figured out. So we're gonna have to do the same with these. We're gonna have to figure it out ourselves. But like currently, in the way the current beast worked, it's like 5 million damage, like or no, sorry, 7 million damage. Basically, like tripled your chance of of a rune drop being purple. So I don't know, but it's been brutal so far. The abyss dungeons. That's probably the only thing that I'm okay with right now is the abyss dungeons, because I think they're actually doing that kind of strategically. So it seems like they've purposely made the drop rates really bad in that dungeon to begin with, just so that you don't want to make the intangible drop rate super high, release the dungeon, we find a way to fucking break the dungeon and clear it in like 20 seconds, and then now you have to go back and reduce the drop rate of your new set. Like they don't want to have to do that. So like I think they made the drop rate super low to see if we'll figure out how to do like crazy fast speed teams. And if we don't, and if like it seems like okay, realistically it can only be done at like 40-45 seconds, then we'll bump the intangible drop rate, which is a good idea, but they should be a little bit more transparent and say that if that is what they're doing, because right now it just seems like, why the fuck would you do Abyss 1 minute runs and see an intangible rune like once a week? Like, why would you ever? Doesn't make any sense.
No, but I'm not even enticed to build my team for it yet or anything. I want to, but I'm also like not exactly overwhelmed, but I'm like at a loss. So like,
yeah, like where do I even go? Yeah.
Artifacts. I want to do. I still need R5.
Yep.
Which is now just what.
Which is now harder. Fuck us,
which is
right?
now harder. And then I still need to do my runes because I need to use all these grinds I built up. Luckily, they made some space, but I'm just like, I don't know where to focus.
Yeah.
And there's too much going on. And like, if I focus on one, it sucks because I don't feel like it drops enough. Right? Like, I'm not. It's the multitasking feature, like because we've spoken about, like we need to fix R5 to be less of a pain.
Yeah.
Is it really less of a pain now? I don't fucking think so.
No, it's way harder. And now
theoretically are better, except for conversions. Runes are teams are slower. Except what's your team? Your team? Oh, you're back to this.
For which one?
I'm at all of them. Or sorry, I'm at for Abyssal Dragon. I'm at your team was like 30 seconds, 40.
So in Giants, I've found that the best way to do it is on Abyss normal, because you can do it really, really easily at like 25 seconds, and it has the intangible rune drop. So that's what I found to be the best. Dragons is harder to speed clear, but it's an easier dungeon. So dragons you can do on hard at like a minute, really, really easily. And but right now with giants, because it's such a hard dungeon, it doesn't make sense to do like a minute runs on hard when the normal is speed clearable at like 20 seconds, 25 seconds. So like for this, I use this. It's just like pure HP scaling damage, and I mean obviously it has illusion in it, so you are a little bit like at the mercy of his AI and Lauren's defense break missing here too. So like you can get a bad run, but
well, as long as it still succeeds in the end.
Oh, you're never gonna lose on normal. Normal's actually weaker.
Oh yeah,
it's weaker than what B12 was, but it is a little bit harder than what B12 was, just because this AOE counter kind of puts some pressure on you. But yeah, I mean it's just like.
So if you run this in hard though,
29.
I want to see what happens in hard.
The problem in hard is that the well, for one, my Lucian can't even come close to clearing those waves. But then the other thing too is that counter will pretty much just OHKO my whole team. Like you got to have some tankiness in hard, which sucks for speed teams.
Or you need to have those high damage shield runes.
Yeah, but the other,
I have a lot of those I've been building up.
The issue with like, I like really hard PvE content. I think it's great for the game. I like building teams, but there's certain LD5s right now that are allowing people to do hard at like 40 seconds. And holy shit, they're building up a crazy lead right now because they're just speed running hard at 40 seconds, and everybody else is like, what the fuck do I do? Like, that's why I'm doing the speed clears on normal, because I'm trying to like keep up with their pace. Because if I can do normal in half the time, then even if their drops are twice as good, I can keep up. But
if you don't have energy issues, it makes sense.
Yeah,
normal, I guess. Because I don't know the drop rate difference between normal and hard either.
Yeah, we're not going to know that for a while. We need a ton of data to be racked up by Swar Farm, probably.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of build is Veramos? Like a triple fight? Fuck, I wouldn't even.
Nope. Rage. He actually does the most damage out of like any unit in these new dungeons, because this is proving to be pretty much the highest enemy max HP scaling skill in the entire game, which like no one knew. Yeah, like which like nobody knew about. And so now, yeah, Veramos is like the staple for both, and it's as your damage dealer, because it also, in Dragons, it takes the dots off of you, and here it takes the defense break off of you, and it's the most damage you can get. Like, the Veramos hits harder than the Lyn, the Veramos hits harder than the Naomi, all that stuff. So, like, the Veramos...
kind of nutty.
Yep.
I didn't think about that. So I'm looking at your team. I'm just thinking what would change to make it. So it'd be a couple shield runes, and I thought I would put Veramos on fight because he's just there to cleanse. But if he's actually doing the damage,
yeah, like he just killed it from like 40% right there. Just bop. So
okay, show us the help. Show it, or hard. Since I don't have a team rune for this to even attempt it yet.
So I mean, this team's gonna fail in hard, but I think I still have my other team rune that can do hard. But it's at like a minute. But yeah, the Abyss dungeons, I'm not sure what the answer is. I need Hraesvelg.
Yeah.
I'm not really ruined.
So we just run. Who was first in the whole comp, Leah? Or
Hraesvelg. It's supposed to be Lauren, then Hraesvelg, then Leah. But my Lauren's not built for this anymore, but it should still work because she's still going to be in front of the nukers. So Hraesvelg, I need Leah. And then you can do like Deborah, or you can do another nuker.
Yeah, LD4 carried. Minaray is not even an option, right? So it basically just has to be if you want to speed clear it.
Yeah, usually a lot of people do a demon like Mephisto.
Why? I'm not under. Is it just his S1 is that good for it or what?
S1 and what's it called? The AoE. The fact that he has an AoE helps. Alright, this is going to be not tuned at all, but I don't think it's really going to matter. It's a pretty safe team. If it fails, it's because the Lauren's moving like last, but whatever. But I don't know. I mean, I like the Abyss Dungeon. I think the Abyss Dungeons are the correct difficulty right now. But the LD Nat 5s that are giving people like crazy advantages in the speed department.
Would it be like Deborah, Cadiz, Jara maybe? Isn't that
It's Jara. It's actually Giselle because she has like perfect AI AoE defense break and then puts invincibility on your whole team permanently. So you're basically just invincible versus this boss, and you have the AoE defense break with like pretty much perfect AI.
Why don't you just use Shizuka?
Yeah, and what's his face? Zarath obviously is pretty much the only thing that can clear these waves. You don't really have any other alternative for that. Nothing else clears the waves. But yeah.
Like
so even
nothing else one shots the wave.
Right. Yeah. Nothing else one shots the wave. Not even close.
I'm gonna see some crack. Well, I think with enough fight sets, you should be able to pull it off with Illusion. But then those are like you need some insane fight sets though, because they also need to be like kind of tanky. They have to also be doing damage.
Yeah, every unit needs to be participating in the damage for this.
There's no triple fight chill on the side unit.
No. I was even struggling to get Deborah to be like useful. Like she just kind of she amplifies your damage, but she wastes time by her turns being so useless, you know? So it's like because you really only want Deborah in your team when she's making it so that you're killing the boss in one round, and that's just not happening right now. This boss is just too tanky for that. So don't know. But I do think this was like the only win of the entire patch, in my opinion, is the Abyss Dungeons. Again, this is going to fail because of my tuning. Yeah, I mean, Artifacts only... I still won.
Whoa,
Artifacts only kind of got better. Like, they got more pleasant to farm, but they didn't really change. Like...
Juice? Oh, shit. And then there's so 45... How much was that?
450,000.
A quarter mil for 12?
Half mil. 450,000.
450. Oh, I thought it said 250.
No.
450 to go to 12.
Yep. So
maybe only go to 9 and figure out if it's still worth going to 12.
I just want to see the quad in the one click. I just want to see the one click quad.
Soon.
Which I already got. Check this out.
Wait, excuse me?
Not speed. But look at this. Look at this seal rune. Boom.
Pretty useless.
Yeah.
But you can re-app that, right?
I've got a bunch of re-app targets. I got this, which is nice. I do have this as a re-app target, which is nice. Accuracy, that's going to be like king shit. Yeah.
What's nice about the seal runes, like, you don't need too many different sets of it. So if you get, like, Apps was doing it last night when he was buying the rune packs. He was buying re-app targets.
That's what I did. That's how I have these.
Of all the ways to spend your money right now, and you can avoid farming the dungeon, it would, because you want to farm that dungeon too. There's another thing. I want to farm seal runes. I want to farm abyssal. I want to farm gems. I want to farm grinds.
Yeah.
I want to farm artifacts.
Well, here's the thing: if you go farm seal runes, you're not gonna have any grinds for them. So even if you fucking get one, you gotta go back into R5 and rebuild from the ground up like a basis of seal grinds. Like,
I remember, yeah. So suggested in rune, and then this pack, which is insane and Canadian. But if you get this once, hopefully you get a couple decent re-up targets.
I mean, you're guaranteed to get re-up targets. They automatically have innate, so you're getting
Okay, well,
you're getting re-up targets. That's not even a question. But
that's one way to whale for your seal runes, and you don't need a lot of sets because maybe at minimum you would want 2. You can probably get away with 1 depending on the unit you want to put it on. I want to put it on Nyx personally.
yeah,
I want to do a Nyx, Despair Seal Nyx.
I think when you get to like peak, like once you really have like a good basis of seal runes, like triple seal Nyx is gonna be so good. Like if you actually have the basis of of speed, enough speed on your runes to tune him, and just have a 45% chance to seal things for 2 turns every time you S2. Oh my god.
Theoretically, it's gonna be nuts, but I'm not holding my breath.
Well, yeah, I mean, how long is it going to take you to get a full 6 set of seal runes faster than what your current despair and vials are? It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to take fucking forever.
Or unless I just sack it. If everyone around me is sacking different things, maybe I can sack a super juicer seal set really early.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bit ambitious though.
I mean, your best bet is like getting a re-app target in like slot 1 or 3, and then just farming the dungeon until you get a slot 2 speed. Because then you just re-app the slot 1 or 3, which is your highest chance at a triple or higher speed, and then you use a slot 2 speed.
I already know my runes. It needs to be a slot 3.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't do it. It needs to be a slot 3. If I want it to be competitive ASAP for SWC,
yep.
FYI, I'm going to be contending in SWC this year.
Huge.
I finally got the confirmation on it. That's why I can announce it on WAP now. But yeah, if I want a seal set competitive for SWC and throw it on Nyx, which is basically throwing in SWC, I need to get a slot 3 and a slot 2.
Yeah. It's the move. And then you got to get grinds for them.
Yeah.
And gems.
Shut up.
Which now drop in different dungeons.
Where does seal drop in?
I don't fucking know. The gem?
Yeah, the gem, yeah.
Who knows?
Fuck. See what I'm describing here? This is insane. I gotta go farm seal runes. If I don't, I have to buy the seal runes. I need to go farm them in one of the dungeons. And then I get the gems from one dungeon. And then I also gotta get the grinds from another dungeon.
Yep.
And then, obviously, I'm gonna need legend speed at minimum. I'm gonna get a boatload of purples because trying to get min-max legend grinds is an absurd thing still.
Especially when R5 has like 24 rune sets in it now. Good luck.
It's absurd. This is nuts. I fucking hate it. We were always saying that R5 needs to be better. This is not how you make it better. If it takes forever to farm, the drops are shit. And like, I'm excited for new PvE because even before B12s came out, Zig and I, on previous podcasts, we spoke about this. We even argue about it with people. Like, PvE, you should have more than just one team other than a triple dog.
And that was after B12s because they made the dungeons so hard that everybody just went and found that one team, and it's like, that's it.
And that's it. Like, it's a snooze fest when you do that.
Yep.
And then they'll release a couple units that had potential, like from the AC units that had the win. What's her name?
Yeah, and they give her the wrong cooldown, so now she just can't be used. Yeah.
So this one?
Yep.
Yeah, this one. It's supposed to be a 3-turn cooldown to be viable. They left it at 4, and
so she'll just never be used ever. She's not a PvP unit, so she will just never be used ever because they did the wrong cooldown. Thanks, guys.
And then you're just stuck farming triple dogs, and a lot of people are still doing it because they can't farm Abyssal. Though they're still in B10 now, or they went back to B10, which is old B12, whatever you want to word it. And they're just comfortable with their triple dog. People are just comfortable doing their brainless stuff. I'm not insulting them. Like, I don't blame you guys, but like, it's good that they finally released something to give PvE crafting a chance again. I know like Strumia is having a fuck of a time. Strumia is our local PvE team brewer. And he's having a baloney of a time trying to figure something out for a lot of these dungeons. But at least it's something that's not just strictly siege and RTA crafting, which is also a shit show, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
then
mean, I don't know. And it's all an AI issue, right? It's the only reason why Trikaru is what it is. It doesn't, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is about the team up skill, but it'll always click it, no matter what. That's the only reason why that's the meta. There's just no other units that have that luxury of just always clicking the one skill, other than purees.
Seal is in the wind one.
Well, at least the
also
wind
drops destroy, fatal, and rage. Wow.
the wind one is the hardest one to get good damage on. I've found it's the
can't take-
easiest one to survive and like get through, but it's the hardest one to rack up damage on with the speed team. Fire's just the hardest all around because it's just a pain in the ass. But light, dark, and water are super easy.
God, man. I'm so cheesed.
Yeah, the combinations are fucking awful.
I don't know. Like, has anyone even been like anyone who actually plays this game on a daily basis? Right. I don't mean like the guys who like. I mean other streamers, other video content, baloney lovers, whatever. All of them. Have anyone who actually played this game daily and farm daily as much as they possibly can say they enjoy the new PvE changes?
The only way you would enjoy it is if you just stay in B10s, which technically got a little bit easier, so everybody's team got a little bit faster.
Did my team get found?
And you just keep doing B10, and there you go. You're a little bit faster than before.
I don't even feel like my team got faster for B10 because I was doing B10s just because I couldn't. I didn't
If
have
it's
time
a
to-
dot team, I highly doubt that got faster because that
No.
kills in the same.
My dragons.
That should have got a little faster.
I don't feel like it did.
Boss has less health now.
It's so weird.
And
fucking this dungeon is still garbage, man. Oh,
yep. Okay, and then the last thing we can talk about just before we I don't want this to be an hour of complaints, but we did also get new units. The Asiras and the Indras. So I've done a little bit of testing. I've pulled 2 fire Indras and none of the other ones. I really want the water one, but this guy, he's really cool. He's an AoE nuke. He hits twice. Unfortunately, his damage is disgustingly low. He does about half as much damage as Shimate does with the same base speed and no speed lead, which really, really sucks. Then he also has a super annoying quirk about him where he gives himself an additional turn, which means you can't use him with Draco because Draco only does a 1-turn attack buff. So if you give yourself an additional turn, there goes your attack buff. So I don't really know. All he does is damage, so he's just a pure cleave unit, but his damage sucks. So I don't know. It's a bit yikes.
And he can't hold immunity. He can't hold anything because of the forced additional turn.
Yep.
Do all these Thunder States have different abilities, right?
Yep.
So, so only the light one has the super cool one.
Yeah, it gives him 100% crit rate.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
This guy seems really good to me, but I would have to see how hard he hits. I think you can do a defense cleave with this guy and Virad pretty easily. Sucks that they're both water, but
Tarjanya?
It would still be really good, I think. This guy,
colors, yeah.
He has a similar passive to Miles, where he just does additional damage after his hit. That's not affected by, just like Feng Yan, just like Miles, whatever. Just does additional damage, not affected by crit rate, crit damage. And he hits way, way, way less than Miles because his passive doesn't give him any speed. Like, I mean, this does give him speed, but it's like conditional. It's not like Miles where it's just like, your team has will runes and shield runes, so now I deal 15,000 damage. Like, he doesn't have that. He has to get a turn, get into the Thunderer state, and then they all have the issue of, at the end of their Thunderer state, they stun themselves. And one thing that I noticed when testing the fire one is that if you're in your Thunderer state and you're stunned, you still lose a turn of your Thunderer state. So you can basically chain CC yourself by being in the Thunderer state, getting Despair stunned or something like that. Your turn will end, the Despair stun will go away, your Thunderer state will end, that'll go away, and then re-stun you. So you're just 2 turns stunned if you get stunned while in Thunderer state, which is really fucking bad.
So then you lose your Thunder state in those
well,
2 turns?
if it expires, yeah, because it only lasts 3 turns. So it's like the turn that you take after you give yourself an additional, then you get stunned for a turn, and then your next turn it ends, and then you're stunned again.
My team may get faster in B10, just a side note.
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's crazy. Light.
Yeah, this is a really good Thunder state control. This is like my new favorite family art-wise, because if
They're
anyone
so
knows me,
sick.
I love lightning as an electrician. I love anything lightning related. So when this got announced, I was super hyped. I haven't pulled a single one yet. And I would really love the light one, because that's the sickest unit. Look at that thing.
Yeah, it is
Look at
so
Look at the color
badass.
combination.
It's
And
so
the art
badass.
team,
It's so
we love
good.
the art team. We love the art team. They're so
But
good.
we hate the balance team because this
the art
thing,
team.
this thing's Thunderer state gives them 100 crit rate. However, you don't need to go into Thunderer state. Like, there's no reason. There's nothing forcing you to do it. If you want to, this guy can fucking AoE stun, attack break, and brand the opposing team without going into Thunderer state and having 15 crit rate. So that's if you're fighting Ragdoll, Artemil, etc. You can blast them with those 3 debuffs. Or if you're not fighting Ragdoll, then you go into Thunderer state. All of a sudden you're a 100 crit rate crit damage unit, and now your S2 defense breaks as well because of the Thunderer state. So now you have 4 debuffs, AoE nuke, 100 crit rate automatically for free, light unit. It's so good.
People ask me what's my most wanted LD5. It's now the light one.
This thing is it's so fucking cool, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
This
So
guy
the
is
dark-
new Gurkha.
New Gurkha?
Yeah, he just
So,
constantly
new
provokes
old
you.
Gurkha or new Gurkha?
New old Gurkha.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he does it in an AoE. So he can do an AoE 2-turn provoke, and then every time you get attacked by a unit that you have provoked, your Thunderer state goes up by a turn, which is your ability to continue to provoke people. He's weird, but yeah, he heals a lot. He does good damage. It's AoE provokes. He provokes on every hit. His Thunderer state goes up when he gets hit by a provoked enemy. It's pretty cool, but yeah, I mean, they're all right.
They didn't fully flop on the LDs are like, they're decent enough.
Yep.
Bias aside, they're like the LDs are aside from like art orgasming. So I can't even fucking put my words together here. I'm having a hard time. As much as sick as they look, the LD ones are actually decent. When you pull them, you can most likely just use them right away and not wait for a year of patches. But the other 3, the water one, like I said, it still has to be tested. The fire one is a very shitty Shimite.
Yeah, I just don't get why his damage is so low. I really don't get, and I think I probably even have an example.
You saw the replay?
I'm sure I do. Okay, so against this guy, G1, I'm pretty sure I cleave him with the Thunderer, and attack buffs because I brought Bastet this time, and just like the damage is just so lackluster. Like you'll see. So I get the defense breaks. So this is attack buffed. I'm going into Thunderer state, which increases my attack by another 50%. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get a double hit. And this defense broken Leo.
I like that you get a Thunderer text.
So we get this huge slam, which does a ton. I mean, we put the Verd to 1 HP just in that one hit.
I saw 30k on Ayunu.
Yeah, but then
so why is this one so low?
Like Leo lives. This is attack buffed defense broken, thunder state, additional 50% damage, double hit,
Look at that little
AoE.
thunder icon. Oh,
Like
I want.
any other fire unit with attack buff, like if this was like I don't even know what is another fire AoE. I can't even really think of one.
There's Bale.
Okay, yeah, Bale. Like Bale's wiping that deck. There's no doubt in my mind. Who else is there?
Not Claire. Not Carnal. Brandia.
Oh,
No.
Zyros. Zyros is
Zyros,
wiping the deck there, and he's killing the Ayunu outright with the reset.
Yeah.
Way worse base stats though,
But
so I
why
guess
did it
that's the
do half the
downside.
damage on the second hit?
Yeah, that's
How
what it does. It does half.
That's it. It just
Yeah.
does half.
It says uses the same skill with reduced damage to attack the enemy once again. When you attack an
It's
enemy
a
on your
passive.
turn.
I see. Okay. Is it because it's an S2 then that you did the AoE with? They just have a lower multiplier, but it's like it's supposed to be kind of made up.
It's supposed to be made up by the fact that you gain 50% attack power from his thunder. That's his thunder state
the same
effect.
rune zone from the replay that you showed.
Yeah, it's just this. I mean, I'm a little bit gated by my speeds because this is what I need to be tuned to Escher and Draco, but also set up for Talisman. He has to be faster than Talisman to weaken him. So I'm a little bit gated by the speed. You could obviously make him hit harder and be slower.
I don't think that was that bad, really, considering how fast you are.
It's okay. I mean, Shimate just does twice as much. I mean, my Shimate set is better just because Shimate is like the backbone of Cleave, so you give him your best set. But
yeah, it's kind of weird that it does. How much would Shimate do in that situation, you think? Aside the Leo aside.
Fucking everything dead. I probably have a replay, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're fun nevertheless.
Mm-hmm. And they look sick. They're probably my new favorite family. But that's because I'm horny for lightning bolts.
Shimate got banned here.
What, do I have any scrolls? I want to summon right now. I should finish my inter-server so... Ooh. GZ? GZ? Alright. And then what about the 4-star family? Our favorite one. Machamp looking ass goofy. What about those guys?
Yeah.
What do you think of those?
So let me bring them up. So the only one that I fully skilled up so far is Water. His multiplier is all of them. This skill right here, any of them that have Storm Fist, the multiplier on it is garbage. Like so low. Like fully stacking this guy up by using Trikaru because he gains attack power every time he swings, and his S1 deals 3 hits. Like on a pure damage set, I was doing like 3.5 to 4,000 per hit on the dragon, which is just pitiful. I mean, if any of you guys have a good Trikaru team and you see your Verd who does like 7 to 8,000 per hit on S2, it's like it's pitiful that this guy fully stacked as an actual damage dealer is dealing less damage than a fucking Vertihile. And on the exact same runes, because all I did to test him was move my Verd's runes over.
What's his S1 too? His S1
it's a branding at a 30% chance, which is like not good.
Questionable. It's so weird when you can like defense breakers range with an S1 defense break range from like 50 to 80% activation. Then they throw, even though like it's a triple hit, but still that's kind of
you'd much rather have like, for example, the Onimusha S1. You'd way rather have that than this. Like 2 hits on like, what is it, like 50% defense break? Because the thing is, defense break is just such a better debuff. It's so much better.
Can you see the red one real quick? Does the red one have any PvE potential with the wind dungeons or no?
No, he's actually looks like a pretty okay PvP unit.
The red one?
Yeah, he's a resetter. Where the fuck are these guys, man? I'm
Who you looking
Stroking
for?
out. Okay. So, yeah, he hits 4 times up to 8 times, depending on the difference in attack power. And every single hit has a 50% chance to increase their skill cooldown times.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to see with this is, can you push them above their max skill cooldown time? Because it's like, if you can't, what the fuck's the point of hitting 8 times?
You
Like,
just increased activation, but
yeah, but
you
like,
gotta, but who are you gonna cool down? In reality, what kind of support unit you draft this into a support team, and then most likely they have a passive. You're not really
yeah,
cooling down all that much.
right.
You can cool down a Shizuka for an example. Sure, you're gonna send 8 hits into a Shizuka most likely. No, what's his S2?
It's the same one. The shitty, horrible, awful, terrible
Is he awakened into red
multiplier.
too, like the other idiots? There's another thing. Like they released this.
Crit rate on this guy.
Okay, so then why does the water one get res?
You would think this one would be the accuracy one. Like, it
So
makes
who
sense.
got
It
the
makes.
accuracy?
Huh?
Who got accuracy?
Probably
Probably the
this
win.
guy. Yeah, this guy got accuracy, which
Doesn't even do
it makes sense. He doesn't absorb, and then he has continuous damage. He a lot of multi hits, but it's like it's kind of whatever. Maybe a good like despair seal type of unit where you're just AOE 3 to 5 times, AOE 2 to 4 times. Like it's something going on there, I guess. But
Honestly, tell me, the water one, if it awakens with either crit or accuracy, is it, or even speed, is it broken?
no, he does no damage. You would never use him in like any circumstance.
But like it's already nerfed even more with the res awakening.
Yeah, 100%.
What's the point? Why do they continuously do this? I don't know. They just throw out a shit family
It's
to
just
make it
so
even
weird the units that they choose to do it on. Like
on the attack types.
but it almost never makes any sense. Like, why would Water Ivor ever want resistance? Like,
No, that's the other one.
I just don't get why would she ever, under any circumstance, be on a resistance build? That's what like irks
Like,
me with
why
their
doesn't
decision.
Shizuka awaken with crit? Why doesn't Shizuka get a crit
Right?
awakening?
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Why
That's
doesn't Riley get an accuracy awakening? Why doesn't like the supports and the HPs generally get the awakening?
they do it right. Yeah.
The attack types are the only one that like they just get hit with a res awakening a lot, not once or twice, dude. Like if
They just
it's a
always get the wrong awakening in general. Like even Okeanos, he doesn't have a res awakening, but he has a crit awakening he doesn't fucking want.
yeah,
And
that's
everybody
another-
knows he doesn't want it. So why does he still have it? Dude, Feng Yan had a crit awakening for like 6 years.
And they finally removed
Like,
it.
what's going
Pretty sure the
on?
patent came out after the Sea Emperors too. You want to
Yeah.
date it, but the point is the attack types are fucking in a shit
Yeah,
spot.
they came out significant a ways after.
No, and just it's just depressing.
Yeah, it none of this makes sense. Supposedly both of these guys are kind of decent. I think the
Back to back.
huh?
Apps pulled that back to back too.
Wait, he pulled
The
both
light-
of these?
He pulled literally back to back, the light and the dark one. And he got saving.
I just want to quit, man. I did so many summons yesterday. I left with fucking nothing.
You guys didn't see Apps' summons? They were his rates were insane. The amount of nat 5s he got, even though they're all dupes, was pretty insane.
Did he finish the Indras? Did he get them all?
Yeah, he has all no, the Indra. No, he's still missing one of the Indras aside from the LDs, obviously. I'll do that after. But
I'm so sad. My summons are so bad in comparison to everybody's. Fuck.
Well, they're better than mine, I'll tell you that.
How many did I even do? Well, the only thing I can look at is MS, right?
Well, you can pretty much only look at MS.
I don't know what I did for MS. 1300, 1258, whatever.
1250, that's a lot more than me.
But I did like 60 or so LDs yesterday. Nada. But
Wants me to do search.
I don't know. I mean, Reloaded as a whole it just leaves such a bad taste in your mouth because it's like, I honestly feel like the game got worse, and it's like if we could just rewind the clock like 24 hours, the game would be better. Not having their biggest patch like ever, and it's like that's just embarrassing. Like I don't know, there's no other way to put it. That's humiliating.
And it's not related to the fact that no one, like obviously Zig's figured out some speed teams here and there, and sure it'll get faster. But another thing people talk about is the drop rates is just not worth it. It doesn't feel like it's worth it. Like if a lot of people, okay, well I can farm this in a minute, but I'm just gonna go a whole pile of blues. And they say that's a bad run. I'm like, well, they've been saying I haven't seen it. I haven't been able to do it for myself yet. It's like just a bunch of blues. But mind you, Zig is also not even farming hard right now. He's doing normal.
Well, this has been going hard the whole time. I've just left this team running hard, and
it's been working out.
We've seen nothing but blues so far. But
well, there's that. Well,
yeah,
you got that one.
That one despair legend. But
the juicer.
I mean,
pretty good here, though.
I'm okay with the Abyss just because I think they're doing it smart, where it's like, before we give you guys a crazy drop rate, show us that you're not going to break the dungeon with like 30-second teams and then have these crazy drop rates in 30 seconds.
They've admitted that they don't know like to what extent people can do.
Oh yeah, they don't have any fucking idea.
Yeah, they're very clueless about it.
So that's why this is a good thing. But like, so I'm totally okay with everything about the Abyss right now, under the assumption that once they feel like we're not breaking these dungeons and doing it in like 20 seconds, that they'll buff the rates.
Yeah.
If they never do that, then the Abyss sucks. There's no reason to farm this. But if they do eventually do that, we're just going to have to wait and see. But everything else about the patch, artifacts, converting, what the fuck? It should not, I mean, 1 million mana per conversion cannot stay. That's absurd.
Like, that means I have 71 attempts right now. I have 71 attempts to, assuming I don't have a limitation of conversion stones.
Yep.
I have 71 attempts to Gemaroon.
Yep.
Which is absurd.
Before your account just bottoms out at 0 mana.
I'm back to like 2012.
Yeah.
Trying to have mana again.
So that needs to change. The grinds and gems, they need to change, but I don't know how. Like, they dug themselves a very, very deep hole with that situation. So good luck getting out of it. Come to us.
Other than removing blues. Or like making blues.
That's got to be how they started off, at least.
At a certain damage, I guess.
I mean, I am going to test that today. I apologize that I have not yet since this came out, so I can't confirm anything, but I'm going to try to build some like 8-9 million damage teams, no matter how slow or whatever they are, just to get some sample size indication, like what my 10 runs are looking like at the end of it. Is it just a bag full of purples and legends? Okay, then maybe there's something there, but I think even if the drop rates are phenomenal in these dungeons, they take too long and you have to farm all 5. And you're not getting grinds in the process. That's just, they could have the best drop rates ever, and these are still an L. Like, I don't know.
It is. I would still agree that even if this only dropped purples at a certain point, if you're able to get a certain threshold of damage in, and it still only drops purples, it's still bad design, considering that even once you finally get that gem, you can still get 3 7s in a row or 3 9s in a row or whatever.
And new players are probably not going to be able to hit that damage. So
on top of actually yes. And we keep forgetting about new players. Like, this was not made for new players at all. This is this has become super endgame now.
Dude, if you join this game and like maybe watch a video of like, well, how many teams am I gonna have to make? How many whatever? Bro, you quit immediately. There's no new player is gonna see all this in front of them and be like, all right, let's buckle up and fucking make 14 PvE teams and spend 13 hours
Mind
a
you,
day farming.
technically R5. Nobody does shared R5 anymore. So this is 3 teams for R5.
That's what I'm
And then
counting in the
you are
I'm
counting
counting that as
Okay,
3
then.
teams, yeah.
So you got 8 different teams right here.
Just in
Very few
here.
of them are shared in between with each other.
Yeah, and then there's 6 in the Kairos dungeon, so 14.
Okay, but Kairos, it's always been that you kind of focus farm one of them, and then so all your runes will focus. So let's call it 9. Let's not be ridiculous about that. Let's call it 9. And then Punisher and Steel are 2 different ones.
Yep.
Because you should always be farming some sort of artifacts, I guess.
So bare minimum 11 teams.
Yeah, there we go. We made it better.
Bare
it's not 14,
bare
it's
minimum.
11. So not bad. And then the Siege and RCA doesn't really matter. Oh no! Don't forget.
Oh yeah, you need dimensional hole. So
that's
12 bare minimum 12 teams.
Yeah, not 15, which is not bad.
And some people are gonna say like, oh, but they only added 1 dungeon. Like Rift Beast didn't change, but it's like Rift Beast before you never had to have a team because there was no. You didn't have to power farm it. You just had to get enough for your reaps. So you could just units 6 units that had runes. Go get me enough essence for my reaps. That's it. Now there's an incentive to do it fast, and that's a problem because you need to make a real team to actually do that.
And our fastest team is apparently 40 seconds to get a bunch of blues.
Yeah,
and we don't know if that even can increase. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I'll test the damage later today, but that's going to be slower teams, so there's going to be a trade-off there. Even if that works, there's going to be a trade-off there because the runs are going to be fucking long. So, but all right, let's call it there. That's about an hour of roasting the fuck out of Com to us for the Summoner's War Calamity.
It's such a shame.
Yeah.
I had so much hopes. But it is. Yeah. Anyways, good night.
Goodbye.
Or good morning, or whatever.
Peace out.
Peace.